stream here in just a few minutes to help you get ready for the start of your week and just to go over throughout the next few hours and really just those morning hours across middle Georgia, as we are expecting some severe weather there, or really here, I should say. So I think we'll just go ahead and get started, go through it just a couple of times in case anybody joins in the middle of me explaining certain things. And yeah, we'll just get started and try to be as prepared as we can as we head throughout the remainder of our Monday morning. So I'll just go ahead and get this off of the screen right there. Just going to give an overview as to what is going on right now across middle Georgia and really just the state of Georgia as well and what's going on off to our west. So right now we've got this tornado watch that's going to be here in this yellow shade. It's going to be all the way from over towards Hancock County, over down through Bibb into Macon, and then all the way down towards Sumter County. So that's what's going to be shaded in that yellow. It's going to be that tornado watch. Now we do have a few cells out there right now, some isolated cells. We have a storm making its way over into Crawford and Peach County right along that line, and watching another shower down towards Sumter County. So we are watching these ahead of the line just in case they try to do anything funny and try to rotate out there. So far this morning, they've been behaving. They've been not rotating so far. So we're just still going to be watching it, making sure everything is still okay before the front makes its way on through middle Georgia. So we're actually going to zoom out here and go a little bit more towards the north. That's where we're seeing a lot more of that severe activity or those severe thunderstorm warnings. It's going to be in a lot of the portions of northern Georgia, getting close to the metro area. But all of these orange boxes right here, those are going to be severe thunderstorm warnings. And you notice a lot of lightning mixed in with this line. So it's a pretty strong front making its way on through. Then we're also watching things off towards our west, so a little bit over towards the Montgomery area. Still have a pretty good line out there as well, and even have a severe thunderstorm warning that has some damaging winds mixed in. That's what that pink shade is going to be over there, having winds over 60 miles an hour, or I think over 70 miles an hour actually. So very, very damaging winds over there. So that is still going to be a threat for today, mainly going to be those damaging winds, but also do have the chance to see the possibility of a few tornadoes and maybe even some hail mixed in. So we have a little bit of everything that could be possible as we head throughout the next few hours, but mainly going to be those damaging winds. So again, what I was saying is that we've been checking on some of these cells, and specifically with our Doppler winds, and whether or not anything is really rotating. And so far, any of these cells that are out there, everything is looking good so far. Not seeing any real rotation. We're going to have a lot of the continuity with this green color, which is what you want. You don't want the reds and the greens touching. That's when you start to see a little bit more of that rotation. But thankfully, a lot of these cells out here are all going to be the exact same color in that green, which is what you want to see. So far, again, this morning, everything has been behaving, and that's what we want to see. So let's run through what we have over the next few hours using our graph model. So we have that line making its way on through, maybe getting to some of our western and northwestern counties right around 6 a.m. So in just about an hour, and then slowly making its way through middle Georgia over the next following hours, maybe getting out of here, maybe close to about, well, let's say 10, maybe even 11 a.m. So it'll linger for a few hours. So time frame wise, right about 6 a.m. until just about 11 a.m. is when we start to see some more of those stronger storms get on out of here, mainly out of those southern and eastern counties across middle Georgia. And then maybe a few leftover showers behind the front, and definitely some colder temperatures. And something else I want to emphasize is the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. So right now we're under a watch. That means that we have conditions that are favorable for a tornado to develop, but it does not mean that we have any active warnings or any active tornadoes on the ground. It's just something to make you aware and be cautious about the incoming weather. But if we are to get a tornado warning at some point throughout this morning, that means that you need to make sure you are taking action, because that means there's either one on the ground or one that is about to be on the ground. So that is when you need to make sure you're getting in your safe place, which is in the most interior portion of wherever you live and on the lowest floor, away from any windows. Make sure you grab a helmet and some shoes as well, just to be on the safe side in case there is going to be any of that debris. But right now, still just going to be under that tornado watch. And something that we'll be watching even once this front makes its way on through middle Georgia, we are going to have that freeze warning in effect for the entirety of middle Georgia, because winter's not quite over yet. We have one more chance to see those freezes as we head into later tonight, into Tuesday morning, and even into our Wednesday morning as well. So we'll go over some of those temperatures once the front passes or really pushes through middle Georgia. So you even start to see a little bit more of that blue color just off to our west right around 9 a.m. and then starting to make its way through the mid-state, seeing all the way right around 2 p.m., possibly only 66 degrees over towards Mount Vernon, but a 20-degree difference across the entire mid-state over towards Thomaston, already at 46 degrees at 2 p.m. And really just starting to see those blue colors take over as we head throughout the afternoon and eventually those overnight hours. Heading into Tuesday morning, now seeing low temperatures, maybe right into those upper 20s for some and maybe the low 30s for others. So that is why we have that freeze warning in effect for everybody here in middle Georgia. So just something to keep in mind as we head throughout the next couple of days, that winter's not quite over yet. We still are technically within winter, so make sure you still have a coat nearby just to stay warm as you might be heading out to the bus stop on Tuesday and or just really heading out to work as well. And then by the time we make it to Tuesday afternoon, only going to get into those low 50s. Then as we head into Wednesday morning, it's going to have this same problem. We're possibly seeing those temperatures getting right back down to freezing and a little bit below, maybe even into those upper 20s for some of our friends up in those northern counties, up towards Monticello, Eatonton, maybe over towards Thomaston as well. So that's really what we're looking at throughout the remainder of today. Again, so far everything has been behaving, which is what you want to see, and that's what we're hoping for as we head throughout the remainder of our morning, but that it is what we're just watching over the next couple of hours here in middle Georgia. So I'm going to go through it just one more time, just in case anybody has happened to join in the middle of me doing any explanations or talking about anything we've been going on with, yeah, so just watching some severe storms off to our north and off towards our west that'll be making their way over towards middle Georgia later this morning. And right now I'm watching a few cells that are out across the mid-state, but right now so far they've been behaving, which has been a good thing, but we still do have a couple storms out there, mainly one that's going to be over towards the Crawford and Peach County line, and then one that's starting to form down towards Americus, or rather just to the north of Americus. And we do have this tornado watch in effect for portions of middle Georgia, spanning from all the way in Hancock County down through Bibb County, and also going to be all the way down towards Sumter County. So it's going to be lining a lot of 75 and then even a little bit of 16 as well. So really wanting to be watching these because we can still see some severe risks with some of these discrete cells. So this is where we are still watching before that main line makes it into middle Georgia, but so far so good. As we head a little bit more towards the north, that's where we start to see more of that severe activity with the actual line itself. So all of these orange boxes, those are going to be those severe thunderstorm warnings. And there's a lot of lightning within that line itself. So that's one of the big risks that we have going into today, is the risk for damaging winds. And then we also have the chance to see maybe a few tornadoes out there and maybe a little bit of hail. So everything's on the table. So definitely something to just keep in mind, but mainly going to be those damaging winds. Now, as we head a little bit more towards the west is what could be coming our way here in the mid-state. We do have those severe thunderstorm warnings just to the north of Montgomery, and still seeing that line holding up pretty well and having a couple of those cells starting to merge with the line itself. So that is something we're watching, especially as we head throughout the next couple of hours. So let's run through our graph model to go the hour-by-hour forecast to see what we might see in terms of those showers and storms over the next few hours or so. So right around 6 a.m. we can start to see that line make its way throughout middle Georgia and really into some of our western and northwestern counties. and then over the next few hours, starting to see it make its trek through the mid-state and eventually start to get on out of here right around 10 to maybe even 11 a.m., just depending on how fast it is. Then starting to see it get on out of here, and then a little bit more residual moisture could be left over, maybe a shower or two behind the front, and we'll really start to see those temperatures plummet and things clear on out. So time frame wise, right around 6 a.m. to just about 10 or 11, depending on how fast it makes its way through middle Georgia. And something I want to emphasize right now is that we're under a tornado watch, not a tornado warning. So what is the difference? Well, when it comes to a tornado watch, this is when you want to make sure you're being prepared, that conditions are favorable for a tornado to develop, but there is not one that is active or on the ground at the moment. It is just something to keep in mind, especially just being weather aware for the next few hours. But if we're to get a warning out there, this is when you want to make sure you are taking action, because there's either one on the ground or one that is about to be on the ground. So this is when you want to get to the most interior part of wherever you happen to live, on the lowest floor, away from any windows. Make sure you've got a helmet with you, maybe even some shoes, just to be on the safe side in case anything is to fall on you and or there's debris that you have to walk over. You want to make sure you're not cutting any of your feet if there happens to be just anything out there like wood or glass or anything like that. But again, still just going to be under that tornado watch, and hopefully we stay that way. But even once we get past all of this severe weather throughout the remainder of this morning, we do have some pretty cold weather coming in right behind it, because that's what this front is. It's a cold front. It's a very strong one, so we have a lot of colder air coming in, filtering in after it. So we do have this freeze warning in effect for all of middle Georgia. That's because heading into Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning, the chance to see some below freezing temperatures. So we'll go over our temperature forecast. Even by the time we hit 9 a.m., starting to see some of those blue colors filtering in to the northwestern portions of the state. And then as the front itself makes its way through middle Georgia, starting to see those temperatures really creep in right around 2 p.m. And this is where we could see the biggest difference between our temperatures over towards the east, over towards Mount Vernon and Soperton in those mid 60s, and then over towards the west, already going to be in those mid 40s. So a 20-degree difference across the board. And then they'll just really start to filter in after that, and even see them get all the way down to freezing and below as we head into tomorrow morning. Some places only in those upper 20s. And then as we head throughout the afternoon, could be seeing those temperatures get back up to right around those low 50s. So not a whole lot, but still could see just a little bit out there in terms of warmth, but still could be a much cooler day as we head into tomorrow. And then by the time we make it to about Wednesday morning, we have the same chance to see those temperatures being below freezing. Again, especially up in some of our northern counties, that's when those temperatures could be right around those upper 20s. So just something to keep in mind as we head throughout the remainder of the beginning of this week, really. But today, again, have the threat for some severe weather as we head throughout the next few hours, especially here in middle Georgia. Have that level 2 threat highlighted for most of the mid-state, at least until 8 a.m. And then it switches over to the next day where we're still going to be in that level 2 slight risk. And even some portions, especially in the south and east, are going to be under that level 3 or that enhanced risk. And that's because once we start to mix in more of that sunshine, that'll add some more fuel to the fire. And some of those storms could be a little bit more severe than some of the ones we see before the sun is to come on out. But that is pretty much all I've got so far for this morning. Like I said, I'm still going to be here throughout the remainder of the morning. Meteorologist Gary Thigpen is going to be here, and he's going to be live doing the actual show when we get to about 6 to 7 o'clock on ABC 16. So he's going to have updates then as well. Just wanted to kind of give one right now, previewing what we could be expecting as we head throughout the next couple of hours. So far, that is what I've got. And yeah, other than that, if you have any questions, of course, always feel free to reach out to us on our Facebook or YouTube, or also email us. That also works as well. We're going to be here throughout the remainder of the morning, making sure you guys are safe and being prepared for what could be happening. But other than that, that's all we've got for now. And so, like I said, meteorologist Gary Thigpen is going to be live on air on ABC 16 at 6 o'clock, giving some more updates as to what we could be expecting. But for now, that is what we have, and hopefully you have a safe and great start to your Monday.